Okay.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
All right. On today's episode, by the way, Macha, this is called the Socratic diuretic. I'll explain it to you later.
Socratic dialect. Okay.
Today we have a very special guest, Mr. Matthias Adam,
What's up?
legendary drummer. That is not the size of the kunji.
No, this is this is the old one, dinosaur.
Um, Matt, do you want to introduce yourself? Or would you like me to introduce you? Like, talk a bit about who you've played for, what you do, how we know each
Hi,
other.
I'm Matthias. What do I say, man? Like I been playing music for 15 more 20 years. Been around the club scene. Played with playing the top 40 scene, playing drums, pop stuff. Done a bit of session. I play with, of course, Cynation. Recently, the latest member, Rock On. I'm also part of a big percussion outfit, Wicked Aura, and I do a bit session work. Ultimately, I'm just your number one kunji.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. Even though Matt hasn't been with Cynation for that long, and we haven't had experience with recording and writing, which I would love to have down the track.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
Matt's the first guy that we've gotten to rehearse with and actually play a show.
Yeah, man.
And Matt's also the one who shot Anthem of the Dam with us, which is our most successful video to date. It's won multiple awards. Yeah. So yeah,
What?
Matt's really a big part of the nation, and he's an amazing drummer. So today we want
Oh,
to
thank
talk
you, man.
to him. You're welcome, brother. We want to talk about a drummer that Matt brought up, the drummer for Periphery, Matt Halpern.
Yeah, Matt Halpern.
So why do you like Matt Halpern?
Um, I like a lot of drummers actually, but like particularly because I've been listening to a lot of Periphery, and
Mm.
I think he's been around for a long time. And like the first time I chanced upon Matt Halpern was actually looking for like YouTube videos on how to drum and like the whole like gospel chops thing and blah blah. So I chanced upon
What's
Matt Halpern.
gospel chops?
Is this gospel chops is how do I put it? I don't even know how to define it. It's just like playing gospel music and like a lot of like linear chops. So it's
Okay.
termed, yeah, it's basically technicality. So like I chanced upon Matt Halpern and I further went to see like the bands he was playing for, and one of it was Periphery. And
Mm.
obviously I'm a big fan of the music. No one or two songs. A big fan, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just an amazing drummer, and also because I keep going to his Instagram posts and trolling him, keep saying, I just go keep saying, "Hi, Matt, it's Matt," but he still doesn't respond. I'm gonna keep probing till he responds.
Well, I'm gonna tag Matt Halpern in this YouTube video. Tag his channel. Maybe we'll get his attention then.
Yeah, man, Matt, come on,
Yeah,
give
it's
the brother a
Matt.
follow back. Yeah, Matt, it's Matt.
This matcha keeps fucking banging the table. It's really fucking with the audio.
You can't help it, man. I'm a drummer. We're born to
That's
bang
what I was gonna
tables.
say. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
as a we spent some time talking about music and sharing bands that we like with each other, right? Especially
yeah.
during your last trip to Melbourne. On the road
Mm.
trip, we talked a lot about music. And I notice when it comes to bands, the groove and the feel is almost more important to you than melody. Would you say that's true?
Uh, I think everything plays a integral part, like music composition wise. But I
Mm-hmm.
think the groove is the essence that makes you feel something, you know, like
Mm.
whether it's the bounce or whether you just feel like going off, like head banging. Yeah, but I think that's very important, like groove, like, and groove doesn't just it's not just specific to drummers, like even like guitar players and like bass players. That's the thing that makes people like go off, you know.
Mm.
So
Something that
I'm
almost
a I'm
everyone
a
can
I'm a
feel.
really sorry. Come again?
Something that, even if you're not a musician, you can feel it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You yes, if you're not a musician, you can feel it.
Okay, it's funny that you bring up Periphery. And Simon and I talked a little bit about them. I have to admit, I am not a fan of Periphery.
Oh shit, man! You caught me off guard there, bro. I didn't know that.
I'm gonna piss a lot of people off. I know they are huge. Look, to me, Periphery, they call it djent, but you can also say it's like prog rock, yeah.
Yeah.
With the odd time signatures, you know, the longer songs, the strange chord progressions, that kind of thing. So, in many ways, I think they're like the new Dream Theater, or like this generation's Dream Theater.
Okay.
That's how I see Periphery, or this whole djent is really just, to me, like a new interpretation of progressive rock.
Okay.
And there's been a lot of prog rock bands, you know. I mean, you've got Transatlantic, Harken, Porcupine Tree.
Oh yes, Porcupine Tree.
Yeah, a lot of these kind of weirder out there bands, right?
Would you consider Tool like
Prog band, yeah. I guess Tool is
yeah.
also another prog band. I haven't heard too much of Tool, but Dream Theater to me sits kind of, you know, right at the top of this prog mountain.
Okay.
Almost to an extent, I'll say they invented the genre with what they
That
do.
I don't know. Like yeah.
I mean, before, it's not that there was no prog music before them. I mean, in the past, bands like Rush, they might
Yeah,
consider
exactly.
prog, you know, but Dream Theater took it to another level.
For sure.
Yeah,
I
something
think I
very
think
different.
I think they highlighted and they were the leaders in the like for a long while in the prog scene.
And I think in recent years, their albums, not that they're bad albums, but if you just compare to their previous, you know, releases, they're not quite on the same level. And it's probably in that gap, you know, that's where djent started moving in to do a new take on it.
I think it's like a ripple effect kind of thing. Like everyone is sort of like influenced by different genres and different things altogether, right? So like definitely Dream Theater. I'm sure they've not only influenced like djent, but also other various like sub genres. You know,
Yep.
like everybody, but definitely they. In my opinion, as far as I know, I think the Godfathers. You know,
Yep.
like when I first heard Dream Theater, I was like, oh shit, man, Mike Portnoy.
Which was your first Dream Theater album that you heard?
The first one the first song I listened to was actually SIM, and the
Yep.
Life in Budokan one.
Oh, that's
That,
strange to start on. So you started on the Train of Thought album, as I am.
yeah, Train of Thought,
Yeah.
Endless Sacrifice, is it? Endless
Yes,
Sacrifice. That's
that's
where I
right.
started. Yeah, because I think I was a bit late to the party,
Yep.
and that actually funny. That was about the time I knew Simon. Before that, I was listening to like straight up Tupac and Dr. Dre, California.
Wow,
Then like
what a change.
yeah,
Dr.
what a
Dre
change.
Dream Theater.
Yeah, so like I was in this band with Simon, right? Crossbred. I think
Yep.
this was after after Cynical Annihilation. Then after he was
Yes.
in the band with us. That's how I got to know Simon. So like we were playing a lot of this like Steve Vai, Satriani, and like Dream Theater. Because too much guitars, right? They didn't want to give the drummer anything. So I like, let's play some Portnoy stuff. Selfish guitarist, you know.
It sucks to be the drummer for a Steve Vai song, you know. I feel bad for the, you know, I love G3, but I feel so bad for the band, for the drummer and the bass player. And they have to look interested, even though they're playing the same part over and over again.
The key word is they have to look interested.
Or the moment you do too much of a fill, fucking Vai gives you a look, you know. Hey,
You're fired. Get the hell out of here. It's my show, man.
yeah, that's so.
Yes.
You started with SIM Dream Theater.
Yeah, SIM Dream Theater.
Which,
that was the first song.
The Train of Thought album is probably one of my least favorite Dream Theater albums.
Okay.
Because that was the album, and I understand their kind of rationale behind it was that they had been doing so many of these incredibly complex albums, not just musically, but even you know, with the storylines and the concepts and all that, that they felt, let's just do straight out kind of rock and roll metal album, at least by their standards.
Mm.
But I felt it didn't really work because that's not who they are,
Okay.
and the songs are still long songs anyway.
Would you say this was the point where they split to become Liquid Tension Experiment? Or was it
Um,
before that?
it was around the time Liquid Tension was the side project that they
Yeah,
did.
side project, yeah, right?
Yeah.
With who was it? Was
Um,
it John Petrucci?
yeah, so John Petrucci, Mike Portnoy, Tony Levin, and Jordan Rudess. So pretty much Dream Theater without my young.
Yeah.
Mm.
Correct. Yeah, so I think it's quite interesting though because like I started on the like later album, the Train of Thought album, then I went to Liquid Tension. Then slowly then drips and drabs of the older stuff.
Yep.
Like if you ask me titles I wouldn't know, but like
Mm.
probably if you like played some stuff and I'm like, hey, I've listened to that.
Yep.
But I think it's all amazing, like for me, I like it's not about like for me it's about what captures me.
Yep.
It can be old and like the newer stuff. For me, I love it was later album that actually caught me first. So
Mm.
then it actually sort of like got me interested to actually go find out more, about like
Mm.
the earlier stuff. Which was the super long song Dance of Eternity, right?
They've got a few.
20 minute. There was a 20-minute song. I know I just lasted 2 minutes of it and I switched it off.
The 20-minute one, they're probably thinking of a change of seasons.
Yes, oh my god, yes. Change of seasons.
They've got a longer one now, Octavarium. So
That's the latest stuff, right?
not the latest, still several years old, but later than.
So how did we get here from like Matt Halpern?
Okay.
And, it was because you didn't like.
You see what I mean? You see?
Yeah.
So,
This is what we call flow, man. Like we're just enjoying talking to each other.
oh, yeah. We're gonna start with Matt Halpern, and somehow we're gonna end up on Neil Peart.
New gear. Yeah, you were saying like something about how Dream Theater is like the Godfathers.
I think Dream Theater, the progressive rock, is what Black Sabbath is the heavy metal.
Oh, okay.
I think they started it. Like, sure, we can get into a whole discussion about prog bands from the 70s and all that, but it's not the same thing as what Dream Theater did.
They created a new fresh sound. Would you say that?
Yeah, I think they really refined. They really managed to blend musicality and extreme technicality to a point where the balance was right.
Yeah, I think you put it so well, my brother. Very nicely put. Porno blast. Yeah, so why you keep shitting on periphery, man? Stop shitting on them, man. Matt Halpern's my favorite drummer.
Okay. Periphery.
You know what? I'm not a fan of Cynation. Especially the guy Josh, with the pink hair. Don't know what he's trying to do.
This is not about me, okay? We can smash me in another video. Okay, I don't like Periphery. Okay, maybe. All right, you know what? I'll stick to it. I don't like Periphery. And I don't like djent music in general.
Okay.
Okay, and any of these.
Is it because of a lot of screaming? No, right? You love the screaming bands, right?
Okay, I do love screaming, but what I don't like is, that I don't know what they call that genre, grindcore or something core, whatever. This newer, I hate it when they have really heavy screaming vocals mixed with super clean vocals.
Ah, that's interesting. Then what about Linkin Park, man?
Linkin Park's quite.
I mean, they have like screaming stuff and like the.
Yeah, okay, bands like what's that band called? Shit, I can't remember any now, but it'll come to me. Somebody was letting me hear something the other day. Is it called Architects or something like that?
I think so.
You heard of that band? Yeah.
Rings a bell.
Yeah, well, bands, I don't like that. Okay, early Avenged Sevenfold I didn't like as well when the clean was too clean. Slipknot does that a little bit as well, where it's very heavy grind and the clean can be very clean, almost pretty sounding.
Oh man, but Slipknot's so good.
Okay, we'll get to Slipknot in another video, okay?
We just
But
like
yeah, I gave you the choice to talk about Joey Jordison. You picked Matt Halpern. Now you want to bring up
I want to be his friend, bro. He just doesn't want to acknowledge me. Please.
maybe this is what it takes. You've been too friendly. Now we talk shit about
Yes. To get a friend, to get a follow. Stop being a bit man. Stop being a bitch, man.
Okay, so a lot of these new bands, people say that, I'm guilty of shitting on newer music. And it's not that I particularly want to pick on new music. Simon and I talked about this, about these newer, I say new, it's weird because Periphery, they're probably about the same age as us, give or take, right? But you have this, I've split musicians into pre-YouTube and post-YouTube.
Okay, that's interesting.
Because I find musicians who spent majority of their formative years learning their instrument before YouTube and those who began after or during YouTube coming up become very different musicians.
Yeah, actually, that's a very interesting take. Can you
Emphasize
further elaborate?
So I talked a little bit about this in the last video, but I'll touch up on it again. I find, okay, basically YouTube, what it's done is that it's given any musician, you can learn anything just by searching it up now.
Yeah.
Right?
You can even learn how to play drums without drums, bro.
Yeah, Matthias channel. You want to plug your channel?
Tagging. Continue. This is good.
But yeah, that's another example. See, Matt's teaching you how to play drums without drums on YouTube. And as a guitarist, let's say you wanted to learn how to sweep, you just search up sweep picking lessons. As a drummer, if you want to learn how to, I don't know, do blast beats for black metal, just search blast beat lesson.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And some videos are good, some are no good, as with anything. But basically, whatever it is you were looking for, it's as simple as looking it up, and there it is.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Right. And
yeah,
the newer generation, so Periphery is a generation that they probably started learning guitar close to the time YouTube appeared.
I'm not sure about that, but like, let's take it as that.
Okay, let's just assume it's around there. For sure, bands like Polyphia, which Simon brought up.
Oh yeah, Polyphia.
They're quite young, so I assume they began learning guitar at a time when YouTube was, available. So what happens is, I find the difference is that people who start guitar today, or since YouTube's been around, they are able to master technique very quickly and very easily.
Because the information is very quick and ready, and so many things are online.
Exactly, yeah. It's very easy to learn anything. Like I see many guitar players who've played guitar for a year, and they've got great sweeping technique, great speed, great picking. Something that Simon's good at it, but I still struggle with that stuff. And I struggled even in the early days, because before YouTube, if you might see somebody sweeping, but your only source of information was maybe these instructional videos, which were very expensive.
Oh yeah, man. Oh my god.
Right, remember that?
Yeah, I had to buy like this Dennis Chambers tape from like Yamaha Zildjian Day.
Yeah. And sometimes Japanese import, they'd be like $200 or something.
Yes. Oh my god, the Japan. Wow, you're taking me back like memory lane.
Yeah, we used to go to Park Lane to watch them on the TV for free, and then quickly run home to try to remember what we watched. So
yeah, like I find that it's very true. Like back then there was a lot of like, you really have to use your brains, I guess, to like sort of figure things out. And your most importantly, I find is your ears.
Yes.
Your ears,
ear training. I
listening
mean,
to listening to the records and like trying to figure it out.
yeah.
Then you might fuck it up, like in terms of sweeping. Then like there's always like inquiry, like with your friends. I think that's the thing that I miss the most about that time.
Yes.
Not that I'm super old or anything, but I got to live in that time where there was no YouTube.
Yeah.
Or any of that shit. I'm not taking a piss at it. It's good. It's useful. But like I think that's the thing that's missing with like originality.
I think it's useful. Oh, it's funny you bring that up. So I think the difference between the players pre-YouTube and post-YouTube, the post-YouTube players are very technically proficient. much better than the pre-YouTube players. They learn technique very quickly. They have very good technique. All these guys we talk about, Periphery, Tosin Abassi, Polyphia, technically they are perfect.
I think they're amazing players.
Yeah, technically speaking.
Yeah. But what do you think? Okay. Oh, okay. I get what you're saying roughly.
Right?
Yeah.
I think Matt Halpern's a technically brilliant drummer.
He's amazing.
Yeah, he's spot on. Like their timing, their understanding of music theory, something which I still know very little about. Okay, but here's the downside, right? The negative is that with such easy access to all this information, one of the biggest thing you've taken away from the musician's journey is that discovery and learning and making mistakes. And I feel that is very important because it is through that you develop your originality.
Yeah, making mistakes, right? Is that what you're saying?
Making mistakes and also trying to figure things out for yourself. Like I used to fret the D chord the wrong way for years, which, someone who's strictly with theory would look at me and go, "You're playing it wrong." But that might end up becoming my style.
Yeah, exactly. So like, I think if it sounds good, right?
To an extent, yes.
Yeah, but like, unless it's like hindering you in terms of like moving about, then that's your own discovery. But it could be something that like it's your own sound and your own way of doing things,
Yeah, and that's what you develop, all these little things that become your style, your sound. That's something that why a lot of the new music and djent particularly bores me is because I find there's not much originality. Everybody kind of blends into one kind of framework.
Everything is just gen. Is
Okay, well, that was something I talked about the guitars. I don't like this 8-string, 9-string guitar business.
Oh wow.
I do not like it because I think that the frequencies are too low for it to sound melodic.
Okay.
So the lowest strings that have been added on are used more in a rhythmic way rather than in a melodic way.
Yeah. For me, same as well. No, I hate the extra tom when they tune it to the low E, the extra floor tom.
It's that feel, right? And it's got so much.
I was just joking, Machan, about the low tom. I don't even know what it's tuned to. He took it so seriously.
I was trying to make it look like I knew what you're talking about. Now you're embarrassed the both of us.
Oh, I miss having these conversations. Yeah, but I think to each his own. Like when it comes to that.
Yep. I mean, look, one thing why I started this this video series, this idea I had was because I don't see enough honest conversations about stuff. There's too much of this PC culture and say, oh, you can't say that. You can't say that you don't like Periphery. Like, fuck, if you don't like them, you don't like them. Like,
yeah, exactly. You're entitled to not like it,
But I didn't just want to shit on people. I wanted to give my reasons as to why I didn't like it as well.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like for me, do I have something I don't like? I don't know. I can't think of it off my head, but like definitely there's some things that I don't like both with.
Yep.
Like probably. I mean, it's good for you that you like the music and stuff.
Actually,
but like
you didn't like In Flames when I let you hear In Flames.
Oh yes, I think you let me listen to it when we were in Melbourne, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't really like it. I can't even remember it, so I guess it didn't form an impression. But what I did really like was Soilwork, man.
Yes, I was surprised because Soilwork. I thought In Flames was a more easily digestible band. Like, it's quite easy to. They've got very catchy melodies and hooks, Whereas Soilwork, like when I let Aaron hear In Flames, straight away he was hooked on it.
Okay.
And Aaron's a good person to measure by because he doesn't play an instrument.
Yeah.
Soilwork, he was very resistant at the start. He was like, "Oh, I don't know about this," but after listening to it for like 2 weeks, he went, "Holy shit, this is one of my favorite bands."
Yeah. I guess it takes some like really like inspecting the music. That's the thing though, like like back then, like we had no choice but to buy the cassette or the CD.
And you have to hear the whole thing.
You have to hear the whole thing, right? And that's probably like 3 weeks or like a month's lunch money. So like you're just gonna listen to it to actually form like an opinion about like the album and whether you like it or not.
I've gotten into this almost an argument with people. Like I know, some people say that, oh, this whole streaming thing, all this music, all the progresses with YouTube, blah blah blah, is given more opportunity. I don't like any of it.
Mm.
I don't think it's the same way where people go, the internet is full of knowledge. You can learn absolutely anything. It's true. However, the reality is majority of it is just used for nonsense. Right? Like, sure, the knowledge and all that is there. But the vast majority of it, or where the time is spent, is not for this purpose. Likewise, when you say that it's anybody can become a musician now, I can't remember who said it. I might be wrong. I think it was Tom Petty.
Okay.
And Tom Petty said something along the lines of, all the internet has achieved is it's put a lot of people in the music business who have no business being in the music business.
Yeah.
Every once in a while there are some gems that come out. But for the most part, in the past, there's so much nonsense out there.
There's not
So much.
I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of things that's coming out, but like there's nothing significant, you would say. Like back then, like there was so many bands, like Metallica, there was like Slayer, there was Dream Theater, and everyone sounded like they had
right?
spent a lot of time in the basement.
I think that basement time is so valuable.
Yeah, man, Foo Fighters, and like everyone sounded their own.
Yeah, everyone had their own sound, truly
Yes.
original sounding bands. I have yet to hear, I mean, I've heard new things. And if you compare a lot of the djent movement to what came before, it is new. I mean, I find djent takes a lot from dubstep as well.
Yeah, could be.
With the drops and things like that.
Yeah, the halftime drops.
Yeah.
Everything is funk, yeah.
I think it's kind of cool in a section, but, as a genre, I don't think it should have become a genre.
I love it when Josh does this truth bombs thing and just like say, yeah, but like,
yeah, go on.
what was it? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, I don't know much djent bands. I only know like Periphery. That's all I know. And like,
yeah,
I think I don't. In my mind, for myself, like I don't categorize. Although it's categorized that way, for me, it's what feels good.
Yeah, whether you like it.
Like, yeah, whether I like it, I like. I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. That's fantastic to me, man.
Aqua's a great band. They've got really good hooks.
Yeah, Aqua.
But you know what? Aqua sounds like Aqua.
Yes, right? Yes. Like, funny enough, yes, exactly. You're right.
If you hear an Aqua song, you know it's Aqua.
Yes. And Dr. Bombay, man. Let's not forget Dr. Bombay.
Dr. Bombay. I mean, man, Dr. Bombay could not release an album today.
That was it.
He's a Dutch guy in brown face.
How do we get from Matt Halpern periphery to Dr. Bombay?
Okay, look, I want to talk about more, of this music stuff with you. I think that's really good and people are interested in that. But if I just summarize Matt Halpern, technically amazing drummer. Same as what I said about Tosin Abassi.
Yeah.
I don't feel that, and maybe as a guitarist, it's extra hard for drummers to create identity. A lot of times they can just become part of the background.
The drummers?
Yes.
Okay.
Soulwork is an exception because I find their old drummer, Henry Ranter, so interesting, the drum lines he plays.
Yeah, man, talk about it. I was just like transcribing, like yesterday I was playing Stabbing the Dark. Is that the title of the song?
I don't know which one that is.
It's a Soilwork song. It's a Soilwork song.
Stabbing the Drama?
Stabbing the Drama, yes.
I actually don't think that's him.
Oh, it's not him?
I don't think it's him. I think he left just before that.
Oh, shit. But like, yeah, I'm not... Thanks for telling me that. Like, I was just transcribing like the double pedal parts. It was crazy.
Try have a look at transcribe something like Follow the Hollow.
Follow the Hollow. Yeah, man, I should check it out.
You know, he does very unique things that catch you off guard, like where drummers would normally do a quick roll to bring it to the next section, he would slow down the beat and go drum, dum, 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 dum.
Oh, yeah, I think we talk about this like a triplet kind of thing.
Yeah, like it's completely the polar opposite to what you expect the drummer to do or what you're so used to doing.
Yeah, I think he understands like for maybe like, I haven't heard it, but like tension, you know,
He's very good
tension. You
at
know,
that.
like if it's going to like I mean, as a drummer, like if it's going to like a next fast section, you just want to like.
Yeah, it's the same as guitarists who can't wait to shred, you know, but to take the
Yeah,
time
yeah.
to
So
say,
like, I think I get what you're saying. Like, he's a very musical drummer in that sense. Probably, I haven't heard the song, but like, I can totally understand that tension and pull kind of thing when it comes to music, and like just groove. You know, like when you're just like, oh shit, oh wow, I didn't see that coming. You know.
that's where I don't know if it's fair of me to say I don't find Matt Halpern as musical, because it could it also be the compositions, the guitar parts that he's playing the drums too.
Mm.
You know, because I don't think Periphery has. I think they're technically very good players. But as writers, I don't think they're particularly musical.
Hey man, but like there's a song called like some of the guitar solos are really really like melodious and like really like I mean I'm a drummer and I like listening to like all sorts of like guitar players and bass players, all sorts of things. Like there's this song called Scarlet. The guitar solo is really really good. Like, and I can sing the solo. You don't make me sing the solo now lah, but like it's something that really. No, but like I think like they got really really great solos. What's the guitar player's name again? Like you're saying?
Misha Mansour and Jake Bowen.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And there's one
Like
other
a
guy,
really,
I'm not sure. I think
I
they have
think
three
Simon Lai behind
Simon.
behind the amplifiers, doing like this. Or must be Josh Mack. He finally mastered the sweep.
You know what? I don't bother because Simon can do it. So I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I think actually I'm having more fun talking about other people other than Matt Halpern. You know, like I said, it's not a personal attack on Matt Halpern, it's the newer players in general. I just find, yeah, they technically way more proficient than anybody before, but much more lacking in originality or their own style. You know, Dream Theater is very unique in the sense that you have every single member in that band is a god, right? But each of them bring, nobody's held back. They can all do so many ridiculous things simultaneously, but it still comes together in a very cohesive way.
I guess they spend a lot of time in the basement and not on YouTube.
I don't think they leave the basement really. Somebody
Yeah.
asked me the other day, it's like, would you consider giving guitar lessons? And I said, I don't think anybody wants to take guitar lessons from me because I wouldn't teach it the way anyone else expects.
Why so?
Well,
Interesting.
for one thing, someone said, okay, let's say you gave a first lesson. What would you do? I said, look, I'll teach you, say, 4 or 5 basic chords, right? And I'll give you a song and I'll tell you to go figure it out yourself and figure where the chords go.
Yeah.
And he said, oh shit, that sounds hard. I said, that's the point. Like, I'm not gonna teach you like how to play this or that. I think the first thing you should learn is to train your ear.
Yes, that is so important, man.
Right? I said, get a chord dictionary. It'll have the first 10, 15 chords that you need to know for pretty much your whole career. And then go choose any song you want and start figuring out what chords are in there.
Yeah, I think that's what's lost a lot these days, maybe.
It's boring though. It's really boring.
It depends. Like, if you really like playing music, like we just really wanted to.
It will weed out those who aren't that passionate, I think. Because for some people, they might find it tedious to do that. It's a lot more fun to learn something flash and interesting.
Yeah, I guess so.
But I think that's the biggest difference between the pre-YouTube players and the post-YouTube players is the ear. They don't have the same kind of ear training, and without the ear training is one thing, and the second thing is their originality, which comes from that search.
Mm.
Because with drums as well, like okay, I think drums have been hit even harder than guitar. I talked to Simon the other day about bands using modeling versus actual physical amps.
Mm. Using what? Sorry.
Using like digital modeling of amps.
Okay.
Look, we do that too, but that's only because we're poor and we can't afford to do it the old school way, right?
Yeah, as
But
in like you're talking about the effects, right? The digital effects with all the
yes,
plugins and is
yep.
that what you're talking? Yeah. Okay. Understood.
And drums, okay, we're guilty of that too. A lot of our drums have been done on a computer.
Yeah.
It's not my first choice to do it that way. It's a really easy way to look. Here's the thing: the modern engineer, you don't get to learn anything about miking up drums, miking up amps, room noise, several mics, things like that, because it's all on the computer.
Mm.
The short the benefit is that it's a shortcut to get to the end result a lot quicker, and at a much lower cost, but then you cut out an entire chunk of education that's, I think, really valuable.
Yeah. I understand what you're saying.
So
I think
don't
like
you
because there's so many, so technology is so good and fast now
mm.
that you just have to add the plugin to sound like Beyonce maybe, or maybe I don't know.
Well, you can pretty much get anybody's guitar sound, anybody's drum sound,
Yes,
you know.
exactly. And like you were saying, like very interesting thing that you brought up was that we don't really need a drummer these days
Yes.
to cut an album.
Mm-hmm.
The plugins sound great and like blah blah. I think that is the reason why probably there's not much originality. There is, but like like if I'm a guitar player at home, and especially like a time like now, like COVID, okay, I've got 14 days quarantine. I'm just gonna put in some drum plugins and write a song or something. As compared to, hey, what are you hearing from this riff?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's yeah, it's so easy, and a lot of bands do that now where they just program their own drums. So we do that. We have done that so far as well. So I'm not saying that it's got no place in music, but I'm saying that if given a choice, I wouldn't have chosen it.
Yeah,
We
of
tried our
course.
best to
But I
stay.
don't think anybody would want it that way, right? Everybody I think
I
everybody
don't.
would prefer a live drummer. You know?
I don't know. I think a lot of stuff's being done without live drummers.
And maybe it's got to do with like maybe it's easier to go on tour with just a computer or like budget restrictions. But like ideally, I think everybody would like to play in like a big band.
But I think the writing process is interesting. Being able to write as a band.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I
Rather
love
than,
that. Like,
a lot of the songs for our album, I wrote them alone, but they start getting developed later. I mean, when things open back up and we have the opportunity, I'd love to workshop the remaining songs in
mm,
a studio with you guys, like
I think it's different, when you get to write something together. Of course, definitely everybody. I think everybody brings something to the table collectively, and sonically, it sounds,
because don't you think you
you
get
know.
inspired differently if I played a riff to you in a studio in a basement than if
Mm,
I just sent you my demo track that I recorded at home?
yes,
Mm.
I get it. Yeah, I totally miss being in the studio, man. Just writing stuff,
Yeah, and
like writing
I
grooves,
think you can't
feeding off
replace
grooves.
that. Yes, yes.
And one of the most important things you said just now to me was like making mistakes. Like
Mm.
like everything is like a hit and record thing, and I've got an Insta video, and everything is done. Like making mistakes on a gig, going out there and like trashing, getting yourself like
Yeah,
fired from a gig maybe, or like just like doing. Sometimes the mistakes can turn out to be like really beautiful accidents
I
to
mean,
form something.
I watched a couple of bands play a few nights ago, and it's a small venue. The sound wasn't great. And the bands, these are older bands, you know. Then it was one of my mates' 50th birthday. So these are like old school guys, and like, did they play everything perfectly? No, but the stage presence and experience that they brought to the show, you know, these are guys who've been playing for decades, was brilliant. It was much better than a lot of stuff I've seen for a long time.
Yeah,
Mm.
sure. It comes with a lot of experience and how it was then.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any shortcut. There's no YouTube tutorial to teach you that. You have to just constantly do it and discover and experiment.
Yeah, I guess somehow like everyone sort of like succumbs to it eventually to
Mm.
put out things on YouTube because like not sure
Well,
whether they're gonna
that's I
like
think
even me, like for me, like I eventually started doing like lessons online,
mm,
like although that's not ideally what I would like to do.
yeah. Well, I think it's okay. I don't have a problem with making the videos.
Mm.
I think it's interesting. Like even what we're doing right now, we're making a YouTube video. I never thought we'd do it, but it was just a thought where if we're having these conversations anyway, let's just put it out there, because I don't see conversations like this.
Yeah,
You know, we hear it among each, you know, when we talk to each other, but you don't see people post up such open, honest discussions.
yeah, it's more everyone's playing the safe card. Would you say that?
Yeah, they are, and it's bullshit though. You know,
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
there's nothing I hate more than hearing, you know, let's say for example, I'm not picking on him, but let's just use Slash an example, all right? You know,
Opening another can of worms.
I'm sure you've seen this a million times, right? Where say your favorite guitarist or drummer gets interviewed and they're like, "Do you have any advice for people who would, you know, for up and coming musicians?"
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you always hear the same bullshit answer: "Just follow your dreams and don't give up." You know, that, or something along those lines. And even as a kid, when I used to read that, it used to annoy the hell out of me, because I'm like, "Oh, thank you, Slash. That's so fucking helpful." You know,
Well, he's not wrong, but like,
well, yeah, it's not wrong, but it's so much more intricate, the actual answer. And in the end, as I got older, I realized he doesn't fucking know the answer, because he's been having success since he was 19.
yeah, and he's sort of figuring it out himself, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably another video entirely about, and I haven't made that video because I don't feel that we've had enough success, so to speak, to make a comment on that.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
guess to some people, I mean, some people comment on our YouTube or Instagram and say like, "Fuck, you guys are so successful. How did you do it?" I'm like, really successful?
So
But
far, like before me, there's only, like, that was our first show together, right? Before that, you didn't have any shows,
no,
right?
we hadn't done any shows as Cynation.
Ah, thanks for the honor, bro.
Oh, thanks for saying yes. It was a very hard search.
Off chores.
Yeah, but the next one's gonna be better. There's so much planned coming up.
Yeah, man. I guess this is like a good time for like us to. Man, I miss Melbourne. Miss coming, going overseas. So
Mm.
hopefully we can do a gig in Melbourne soon.
The gigs are ready. That they're just waiting
Yeah, man. I
for.
saw Andre is like he went to gig last night or something like that. He went live.
Yeah,
There was this band playing Ace of Spades. I was like, yes, on the bus home, Yay, Ace of Spades.
yeah, it's awesome. There's gigs all the time now. And they may not be big gigs, but you know what? They're gigs that we can play and we can get in. And
I think the moral of the story, like how we've drifted in this video, is that Matt Halpern needs to follow me on Instagram.
exactly.
That's it.
Well, yeah, Matt Halpern, I hope you're watching this. Follow Matt and reply to his messages. That's very
Yes, come on, man. Stop just giving me a heart shape. I don't want a heart shape.
Wait, he actually gave you a heart?
No, no, no. You know those Insta comments where like you just put like the comments thing.
Oh, he liked it.
Yeah, he liked it.
Bro, that's way more. Look at that.
Yeah. Oh wow. Now you must put the blue button, bro. Blue button. Can you put Matt Halpern's face on this video?
I will. I'll put it in the thumbnail. Hey, Matt Halpern, you didn't tell me that he actually liked the comment. That's already way more than you deserve.
because because I'm a fucking asshole, right?
I was gonna say something, but I think it might be too much for YouTube. That's all right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will end this episode here, so Matt and I can go and talk about more inappropriate stuff. Until next time.
See ya. Hey, wait, hold on.
Yeah. Matt's Kunji.